That's AMP2.TV.
Bob, did you see Halley Elise in the paper?
Who?
The empowerment psychic, Halley Elise. They did a 2-page write-up. The columnist was enthralled. Halley went right to an issue that she was dealing with. I'm looking at HalleyElise.com right now.
What are you thinking? Should we schedule an appointment?
Matter of fact, yes. You have issues with Sue and me, my business. Take a look at her background. It's impressive, and she has decades of experience.
I want to put it on my iPad. What's her info?
Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise. HalleyElise.com. 561-755-2166.
Spell it.
HalleyElise.com.
So it's HalleyElise.com and 561-755-2166, right?
561-755-2166. That's it.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Halley Elise Show, featuring your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise. She is an author, psychic, and media personality, and has been listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America. Empowerment psychic Halley Elise shares the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and magical powers of the universe. Follow Halley on her website at HalleyElise.com, and all her shows can be seen via live stream video. Now, here's your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight. As always, when we have a guest, I am delighted and excited. On the air with us tonight, though not in the physical, well, at least not in the physical in the station. Hopefully he's listening to this on the air. Via the phone. Actually, our guest is calling in from Taos, New Mexico. We couldn't get him to fly in. It just didn't work out timing-wise. But let me introduce who this is this evening. And I want to actually say, before we even dive into his credentials, that if you are an entrepreneur, if you're looking to find a better way to conduct business, if you're looking for a better way to create what you want, you definitely want to pay attention to this gentleman. Our guest this evening is Dr. Richard Kay, and he started out with a Bachelor's of Science in Business and progressed from there and went into the chiropractic field for 30 years with a successful business. When he decided to retire, and this is amusing, he decided to take on an entrepreneurial life. I find that fascinating. Entrepreneurial life, to some degree, truly, I think is more work than the typical business. So when somebody says they've retired, you wonder. So while he's been retired for the past 17 years, he's worked with a company called CEO Space. And you'll find that the name might ring a bell because Richard has been a presenter at the Deepak Chopra Center. He's been seen on PBS. He's been on television. So this is a name that you probably know from many different places. And I think what he has to say this evening will surprise you. And for our guests, he's going to give us a special gift at the end of today's show. So be sure, listen in if you're on the phone, on the radio, on the web. If you're watching, make sure you pay attention. So without further ado, Richard, are you there?
I'm here. Good evening.
How are you?
You might have had me on mute when you said, he's in the physical. I haven't passed over yet. I'm still in the physical.
Well, and that's why I corrected myself. But this is why I turned around and said, not on the physical in the station. It'd be kind of interesting if you're on the other side, but I think it might be a little bit more too difficult to hear you.
It just might be.
Just a hair. So, anyways, how does one go from working, we'll say, wellness to deciding to be an entrepreneur? And best yet, as I said, retiring to be an entrepreneur, that's kind of an oxymoron. So explain that for us.
I love what you said. People ask me, Halley, how many hours a week do you work? I say, none. And they, oh yeah, you're retired. No, you don't understand. This is not work.
Right.
And it was the same thing when I had my practice, because my practice was not headache, back pain, hangnails, hemorrhoids. It's about improving quality of life.
Okay, good. I'm glad it didn't include those other things.
Well, that's a whole different conversation. What
Yes, it
symptoms
is.
and drugs do, but that's a different conversation. So, in essence, in reality, it's what I do now. I help people improve the quality of their lives.
Right.
And help people get to a place, Halley, where they can generate more money in their lives and therefore take better care of themselves and their family. So it's just doing it in a different plane, vibration, realm, whatever we want to call it.
Right. Now, you're kind of jumping ahead here when you talk about vibration realm and all. It definitely ties into the type of programming that we do on the Halley Elise Show. The thing that I have a question about is, the consciousness involved. Now, being a wellness practitioner before becoming an entrepreneur obviously opens you up to, we'll say, altered states of consciousness, different ways in which you, if you will, direct your business, different ways in which you if you will, deal with clients versus patients. But it's not just the tangible. You're dealing with something, if you will, almost eclectic in nature, because the idea of using consciousness to create wealth for many people is way too abstract. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, how that ties in?
Boy, that's a great question. CEO Space in reality is a spiritual growth company masquerading as business development.
Okay.
You can. Good
answer.
Well, I don't know whether it was Bob Proctor or it was me who said it, but that's how we show up.
Okay.
Consciousness in business, the old model of it's all mine, doesn't work anymore. The model of collaboration and cooperation is the only way to thrive. I would say we're a microcosm of society, but it's skewed towards very awake and conscious people. It's many of us have been to network. You've been to networking organizations, haven't
Yes,
you?
I've been to the ones that are conscious and the ones that are unconscious.
Yeah, that's a nice distinction. And in the
caught you off guard there, didn't I?
In the ones that are unconscious,
right.
The operative model at a networking club is, here's my business card, how much of my business can you consume?
Absolutely.
And yeah, you have to build relationships. We're 180 degrees on the other side of that. If you ever, or any of your listeners ever make the decision to join us,
right.
the questions we ask are, Halley, what are you doing? And people will respond, well, what do you need next? Who can I connect you with? So the level of consciousness at play here is, how can I be in service to you?
Big difference. I want you to repeat that. I want you to repeat that for a moment, because I don't know that everybody caught that, and it's so important. Ask that question again.
What do you do? Mm-hmm. And once you find out a response, what do you need next, and how can I serve you?
Yes.
Who can I connect you with? Who can I find? I have an answer. As a matter of fact, we're very sophisticated. We use a process called see-me cards. Very sophisticated.
What are they called? See-me cards? Do you see me?
It says, see me.
Gotcha.
I'm a contact. I have a resource. I know somebody, or even I know somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
And the connections that get made, it's different than, Halley, call Sally. Tell her I told you to call. No, let's get Sally on the phone right now. And when you live in that space,
well, it's immediacy.
It's the immediacy of it. It's instant manifestation.
Okay, so I'm going to cut you off here for just a second, because I know that on your board or your faculty, you have several people, from what I understand, that were connected to the film The Secret. And a lot of people know The Secret as a forerunner for helping people to understand how power of intention and the power of attraction works in your life, and that it's just, if you will, the tip of the iceberg with universal law. So how is it that a company like CEO Space has come to have those types of people? And of course we want names.
Take your names and numbers.
Exactly.
It's a great question again, because when you play in that space of collaboration, when Rhonda put this thing together,
right.
Many of our faculty members were invited to participate. And, I mean, you want names: Bob Proctor, Les Brown,
okay.
Jack Canfield. As a matter of fact, with Jack Canfield was some years ago, but yes, Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield gave birth to came up with the idea of Chicken Soup for the Soul at CEO Space. And we're family. Lisa Nichols, great example. When she came, she had a job in an area named South Central LA, the other end of the world from you. And the only thing Lisa knew, excuse me, is she wanted to help children. And because of the culture of family and how can I help you, she was literally handheld to Jack Canfield, who told her she's going to write the best-selling chicken soup book ever. She said, Jack, I failed high school English. She did. Chicken Soup for the African American Soul, New York Times #1. Chicken Soup for the African American Woman's Soul, New York Times #1. And for her third book, she got $1 million advance, Halley. And it's called No Matter What. And she says it all started right here at CEO Space. As a matter of fact, when Jack got the check when they sold Chicken Soup, he called my chairman, Bernie. I said, Bernie, I got the check. I got a $68 million check. and that's the culture. That's the culture when you step out, for many people, I don't know, were you brought up as it's easier to give than receive?
I don't know. We've had a few different conversations. I may have, because I've said that to a few people over time. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who has.
Absolutely. And we take people, Halley, out of their comfort zone. And yes, you give, but we teach people how to receive. When someone says, here's a contact, here's a lead, here's a check. Oh, no, I can't do that. Well, that's a beautiful blouse. Oh, I got it,
Right. They discount it versus taking the compliment in and being appreciative. You know how I teach clients all the time about that, in the sense of, if you're discounting it because you're uncomfortable with the compliment, you're doing two things. One, you're not receiving the gift, which was the compliment. And two, you're telling the universe that you don't deserve your good. And neither of those are acceptable.
And you asked how, in a different way, but I'm going to reframe it, how we change consciousness. That's part of it, because people learn to receive. And when you learn to receive, the whole universe opens up. So that's what we do.
So you help people shift their consciousness. You help them learn to receive. You are a team builder, and you are a motivator, and you are a lecturer. So in the proper context of working at, let's say, CEO, when you have a get-together, I don't know what your format is actually referred to. I mean, do you actually call them programs, seminars? What's the right terminology here?
I'll give you a technical word. It's a transactional workshop.
A transactional workshop. Ooh, interesting. My mind could go to many different places with that, but I'll behave myself because we're on the air.
You're on the air. We get stuff done. Get stuff done. You did not learn to drive a car by sitting in a classroom and having a lecturer tell you how to drive a car.
Very true.
You learned how to drive a car by getting in it, and if you're like most of us, just a little bit afraid the first time. And even though I don't recommend it, you can now drive the car, text, put on makeup, and retune the radio. I don't recommend
No, I'm afraid not. I'm not one of those people. I do not text. I do not put on makeup when I'm in the car. The phone I will talk on, but it's hands-free. So there. I believe in safe driving. I know, multitasking with the confidence that you have. Right. I get it.
And that's it. We become the unconscious competent because you're hanging out with people who, again, you don't have to pick anyone's mind. How do they just tithe it? Part of our program is meals. We provide meals for the entire week, from breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you're sitting with coaches that most of us can't afford.
That's impressive.
$2,500 an hour to $25,000 a day consultants. They're sitting with you and having private appointments. You can't hide.
True. Richard, I hate to do this to you, but we have to take a break. My tech guy just gave me the cut it off. So we'll be back in just a moment with Richard Kay. Please stay tuned.
Wow, this looks really great. Oh, gosh, I've got to stop talking to myself. The Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of every month, 7:30 p.m., here in Boca Raton. De-stress, connect with intuitive abilities, laugh, learn about psychic phenomena, and get psychic messages? Psychic messages? Woo! Where's the price? Here it is. Only $25 at the door? Awesome! How do I sign up? Oh, easy. Go to HalleyElise.com. Nice. $5 off online? Oh, I've got to call the girls and tell them about the Psychic Gallery on the first Monday of the month. Great time. 7:30 p.m. Perfect. Have to remember HalleyElise.com for the Psychic Gallery.
You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Hi there, folks. I'm, dancing in my seat as usual when the music comes on. This evening, we have a lovely guest. We have Dr. Richard Kay, and he's connected with CEO Space, and he's sharing with us how you can shift your consciousness in such a way that the whole universe opens to you, and attracting wealth and business and whatever it is you desire really comes to fruition. So, Richard, we're back from the break here, and, I was just thinking, in respect to money, granted, you have to change your consciousness so that you're open to receive. And as you said before the break, you teach people or you share with people how to receive, and that's very important. But I'm curious, what is your personal belief in respect to money? Because here you went from, we'll say, the business world to a wellness business world to still in business, but in a very different way. So what is your, if you will, take on money? How does that work? Not necessarily in everybody else's life, but how do you perceive it? Do you perceive it as a tool? Do you see it as an exchange? Do you perceive it as a gift? How do you look at money?
One of my favorite books many, many years ago was Stuart Wilde's book, The Trick to Money is Having Some. And if you've never read any of Stuart Wilde, he's a modern-day philosopher. Money is time. Money represents time. For people, Halley, who are in a job, it's trading their body, their time for money. For people in the entrepreneurial world, we have figured out how to leverage time. And when I was practicing chiropractic, if I had one person on my table, I wasn't helping others, and therefore my cash was limited. Some people, many people, have managed cash flow. When you master wealth accumulation, that you do as an entrepreneur. So yes, it is an energetic exchange, and it represents time.
Okay, so just to clarify for those who aren't completely understanding what an entrepreneurial lifestyle or relationship is, because it's funny, years ago I used to have on my card spiritual entrepreneur, and people would inevitably come up to me and go, what is that? So for those who are like, wait, I don't get this, entrepreneur means what? You don't really work, but you make money. Define that, seriously, define that for the person who goes, this just doesn't make sense.
And there are a lot of people who say that. Okay. There are some people who call me, they want to come to CEO Space, and they say, I have a job. I'm a teacher. I'm a scientist. I work for the Navy, whatever it is. I'm happy knowing what time to go to work, what time I'm off, when my pay raises are, and what uniform to wear. I'm an entrepreneur. Man, you've got to be self-motivated and self-directed and self-started, because you control your life. There's no one else at this point. If your income is less than you'd like it to be as an entrepreneur, you can't blame anybody else. You can't blame the economy, the weather. You've got to take full responsibility. And it is a different way of thinking. You're an entrepreneur. You do so many things, from your psychics to the program to this radio show. You manifest it, and we have to be responsible for it. Again, I don't consider as an entrepreneur what I do work. I enjoy helping people improve the quality of their life. And when phone calls come in at ridiculous hours of the day, as they sometimes do, you show up for people. Another thing that you do is I never learned. As you said, I have a BS degree in business management, and I consider it just that, BS. I never learned how to be an entrepreneur. I learned how to have a job and take my then managerial skills and make someone else a lot of money. I never learned how to be on a board of directors. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be on boards of directors and use your skills, your talent, your knowledge, your experience to help other entrepreneurs. And there you come back to wealth accumulation. Because when you come across an early stage company and you say, hey, I'll be with this one, I can contribute, and now you have equity, which means ownership in a company, your life's changed. Imagine the people who hung out with Bill Gates in the beginning. Some of them did it for no money. They're a lot happier now than having had jobs.
Actually, I want to interject here, because oftentimes when acting as an intern or studying with a master in whatever field, you don't get paid, which is interesting, because typically the people around you have that idea that, well, you have to be paid. You can't go and work for somebody, whether you're learning or not. You have to be paid for your hour. They don't see value in what they're receiving. They just see that old paradigm of compensation. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I noticed, I could say down the board, with professionals, with experts, with philosophers, with people that are making a lot of money, oftentimes there are those around them that are helping them, or they are there supporting them, or they are their friends helping bounce ideas, and they're not doing that for the money, but they're doing that for the growth and for the learning. So I think we all have an opportunity to do that in different areas of our life. It's just being present. I do want to mention the address for the website, because I noticed it wasn't coming up on the screen. So for those folks listening in, you can find Richard at ceospace.com. So that's CEO, just like it sounds. What did I miss? Did I miss something?
Wait,
what?
Yeah, it's ceospaceamerica.com.
Okay.
CEO
Boo boo.
America. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the space bar. It's CEOSPACE America.com. And what I'm offering to your guests is a free business strategy consultation. So if you go to ceospaceamerica.com/Halley, you can make an appointment there. Many people, by the way, we work with anywhere from napkin ideas all the way up through, Jack Canfield teaches with us.
Right.
I had Jeff Hoffman, who's the guy who co-founded both Ubit and Priceline.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, no matter where you are in your business, there's always growth. There's always more.
Absolutely.
And if you're not growing, you're dying. So.
Right. Either if you're not moving, what is it? Anything in motion stays in motion. So obviously, if you want your business to be perpetual, if you want it to expand, you need it to move, you need it to grow. So I'm going to repeat the website this time correctly, ceospaceamerica.com. And if you'd like to take advantage of the free gift, you want to do /Halley, and that's HALLEY. Did I get it correct?
Right. You did.
I did. I'm good. So tell me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Some time aside, we'll explore where you are in your business and what you need next.
Okay.
And whether it's branding, marketing, strategy, team, capital. Forbes, by the way, has now 2 years in a row said that we are the #1 business growth conference.
It's amazing.
Now, they've said that about other companies, that they're #1. This is the first time they've said someone's 2 years in a row that. And we're thrilled. I mean, we're excited about that. So that's just in the vernacular. That's way cool.
Okay, I'm noticing on the screen we have a boo-boo. It's CEO space, there is no dot, America.com.
That's correct. It's all one word, CEOSPACE America.com.
Right, okay, I'm just double-checking here. We have little boo-boos that pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Richard, tell me, because sadly our time is going to fly right by here. If there was one piece of wisdom that you could impart on those listening in and that are tuned in this evening, what would that be?
Wow. Be true to your dream. Don't let a dream stealer kill your dream. Years ago, someone told attorneys not to invest in the telephone, not to invest in Edison's light bulb, They said after the World's Fair, the light bulb would be a fad and it's gone. You have a dream. It's yours. The worst thing you can do is go to your grave and never manifest your dream. There's no such thing as a silly idea or a silly dream. There are just silly people who will tell you, well, you can't do that. So,
I agree. I agree 100%. I think the idea of taking your dream with you into a box, into the ground, doesn't really help anybody. Besides, we're all here with a purpose, whatever that purpose is. You know, it's interesting that people often say, well, what is my life's purpose? And truly, it's more often about them just being exactly who they are. So, for instance, if they absolutely love flying, then they should do something with flying. If they feel that they've got a new medical technology that would make a difference to the world, they should pursue it, whatever it is. Now, quick question with CEO Space, if somebody, let's say, attends a conference, because you mentioned that all their meals are taken care of, which is kind of nice, but I would guess that they have to take care of their lodging?
That's correct.
Okay. And
That's correct.
What sort of days are they? Are they long, intensive, laborious days? Or are they lighthearted?
I have a core belief.
Okay.
If it's not fun, don't do it.
Good.
And if you must do it, make it fun. We make business fun. We end at one night. We go till 10:30. Otherwise, we end at dinner time, which may be 7:00. And most of the time, you're not sitting in that classroom, watching somebody teach you how to drive a car.
Hey, Richard, believe it or not, that's our cue. So thank you so much for being on this evening. Thank you, folks, for listening in, tuning in, and be sure to visit ceospaceamerica.com/Halley and get your free gift. And Richard, I'll talk with you soon. Thanks so much. Good night, everyone.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in. The opinions expressed on the